Good morning folks, it's a nice sunny day and it's also the day before we go away on holiday, and today's video is a bit of a tutorial. It's farming for dummies, but that's not meant as an insult for Uncle Nigel. We've got farm sitters coming, so we thought we'd make a little video for them but also share with you what it takes to get it all sorted in the morning. So this is the morning farm chores. Now first up, nearly everything can be done on foot with a wheelbarrow or just carrying it. But at the moment, our pigs, half of the pigs are over in the secret meadow. So we need the truck. The truck lives in this end of the hay barn, and I just do that to poke the back end undercover because obviously it's not weatherproof. All right, sure I don't need to teach anyone how to drive a car, but the only thing is that we normally leave it in low range when we're going over to the other side. So often I just leave a big bag of pig feed in the back and I just serve it up from there. But today I'm just going to show you all the amounts of feed that we need to take around, so we'll do it all in buckets. There's half a tank of diesel in here yesterday, which is a concern. I had a bit of a sort out yesterday. All the feed is now in bins to keep things clean and tidy and rat free. So first bin, pig feed. If it runs out, there's more right up here. Next one, goat feed. Last one, chicken feed. It really is easier to do it in the field, but I'll show you what's going on here. So it's 1 scoop per pig. That is the right weight, so it's about 4 pounds of feed in weight. So we've got 6 pigs over in the secret meadow. At this point, the goats will hear you through the other end of the barn and start screaming. So that's the secret meadow pigs. And then we got Matilda with her piglets. So she's only 1 pig, but she's feeding, so we give her 2 big scoops as well. Goats, we've got billy goats and Samson in the field. I don't like to feed them that much, but they can have 2 scoops of this. Let's keep them happy. And then the boar goats outside that you can hear, you can have a full bucket of this. Now as you go deeper down in this bin, it'll turn to just pellets because I'm trying to move them onto a calf rearer. Take out half a bucket or so just to top them up. From a illness point of view, if anything goes wrong or there's an injury, then obviously we'll leave the vet's number. However, the only thing that may be needed if it was just like a cut or a snag or something like that, or you notice one was really lame, there's a foot spray, but there's also just the normal blue antibiotic spray there. And that's just an easy way of knowing that a wound's gonna stay clean and healthy. Forgotten one thing. Now I normally do this on the trolley because it's a bit easier, but you also need hay bale for the goats. So this year's hay isn't done yet, so ignore this whole bottom layer. It's gonna be used for bedding because it's been on near the floor. All this stuff's good, and it's just like Jenga, so you kind of need to pull one out that's not been crisscrossed. There we go. And just make sure, sometimes they go a bit like a banana and pop out the strings, so just make sure it's nice and straight. As I said, we'll leave the trolley, but if you do need to use the truck, it's always first round doing the goats because they're the noisy ones. So I just leave it on the back of the truck there. The half a tank of missing fuel is definitely a worry. Right, so feed them first and then we'll do the hay. Okay then. That's where you've got to play tricks with them. Around the other side. So you definitely want to be trying to get them to move away from the gate, and then get them interested in a little pile just on grass, and then fill it up. So it's only one big bucket, it's just a supplement really. But it's easy to climb over that gate if they've had nothing yet, because they will just try and push through otherwise. Just noticed that there is a nut missing on there, which means that that catch could fall out, which means they can push the gate open. I'll try and find that before we go, otherwise it'll be a baling twine job. They're busy enough. We can open this. Come on your head, guys. And this will take about 2 bales, or a bale and a half. So they basically get through 1 bale a day. You can just put the whole bale in and then cut the strings if the goats aren't in the way. Otherwise, launch them in and just make sure you pick up the baling twine. As far as where the goats are at the moment, this video is obviously at a point in time where these particular herds and flocks are, but the goats at the moment have got this yard up here, and they've got a shelter over there which they go into with the slightest hint of rain. This gate is always open. And then they've got the goat bank paddock. So this is completely stock proof. So they don't go down onto the bottom where the sheep are. That goes all the way down to a gate. So they've got this at all times and this at all times. They're a soft bunch. They won't stray far from their shelter if the rain is anywhere near forecast. Baling twine scrap can go in there. Right, as I said, all of this is usually done on foot. I'm being lazy today. So chicken feed is this one, always the smallest pellets. This is the chicken shack. It's a pretty primitive setup, but that just turns. You have to give it a good push in the evening to twist that around. But you just need to drop that ramp down. All the girls will come out. This paddock is kind of where they hang out, and it's generally they can't venture unless the electric fence netting is let through, because there's no gate there yet. But they're pretty much okay here. They do go near the barns. It's not the end of the world. They're just exploring. In here is where all the business happens. And this girl here shouldn't be on her nest. She's a stubborn broody, so you can grab the eggs in the morning. It's worth checking in the evening just in case she's gone back on. There's no cockerel, they're not fertile eggs. She is just a stubborn broody. Alright, the girls didn't put the lid on properly, so they've got wet mash in the bottom there. They'll eat it still, but it's worth clearing that out. Alright, I'm going to let them get through that today. But basically that slots back on. You just fill this up to the top. That'll last 2 days, and then this sits on top. You just turn it anti-clockwise until it hooks in like that. Right, non-livestock rabbits need to be moved, which they weren't moved yesterday, I don't think, onto fresh grass. They've got wire on the bottom, so it's pretty much predator proof. Well, it is predator proof. Like that, and they'll nibble through. This never needs to be opened. It's going to be screwed shut later. And then Eden will tell me I'm wrong, but I think it's about a cup of this stuff. Oh, anyway. Now, the setup that's going to be this week is we're going to just keep everything simple. We're going to bring all the sheep up into the hill field. So at the moment it's empty. They've got hopefully a week of grass there. So Matilda has the 2 scoops we did earlier, which is this one here. So she has this corner, she got this electric fence here, and she got some piglets over there, 3 of them. Come on, Tills. Now we don't use troughs for the pigs, so I try and feed them on some clean hay or straw, and that's fine. They find it, they never leave a single bit behind. So here come the little zoomies, and I'll just do it in one big pile for her. So the little ones are there, they'll probably come and have a nibble as well. So they're living in here, this is shut off, and I'll show you the water up here. So unless it's a massive heat wave, water, you need to check every day, but you shouldn't need to do anything every day. At the moment, this doesn't fill up automatically, so you just top it up with the water. I normally tip the whole thing out every kind of week or 2, but it's okay as it is. So at the moment, that's what they've got, and just for the piglets to splash around in, I'll fill that little pink one at a lower level. But that's Matilda's, and the tap is there, which means when you do need to take any water over to the billies and the ram over in the far one, you can just fill up from that tap. I use that one over there, or if I'm on foot I still use it, but I just maybe half fill it and walk it. But if the grass is decent and there's a bit of moisture on it, it's amazing. They barely get through any water, even with 30 or 40 sheep. Right, I was saying about low range. Obviously this is just like any other car. Low range is obviously on here, it says 2 high, 4 high, neutral and 4 low. All you need to do is just go down, across and up, and that's 4-wheel drive in low range, which is just a far easier way of getting around all these lumpy bumpy fields, and especially going through the brook. The only thing to mention is with this truck, that locks the wheels together most of the time, so when you're doing a tight turn the wheels skid a bit, but most of the time you're going so slow you wouldn't even notice. Okay, goat number 2, so it's this one here. Like I was saying, I don't, that's probably even more than I want to be giving them, only because Samson's in there and he shouldn't really get too much. He can actually, yeah, it's fine, go with this. So it gets off. Again, I'm just going to put some down on the ground here. Make sure it's a nice clean spot. So in here we've got 6 billies and then Samson. Now if you need to go in here, just be careful, because Samson is a bit of a headbutter. He's fine, but just, you know, if he comes towards you, you just push him out of the way. Don't let him out. Don't put your hand up like this, because he just breaks your wrist. Grey bucket of water every couple of days, just make sure that's fine. They can't get out, it's secure, they're all good. They've probably got enough grass. If it looks like they're really getting this low, you could just bring half a bale of hay down and just put it down here in the corner, just to top them up. But between the hedges and the grass, they should be okay for the week. So it's not long, but there's enough of it for the sheep we're bringing up. So we'll go and get those girls in and they'll all be in one place then. Our diesel's grown a little bit, but not much. There was 2/3 of a tank in here. What's going on? Rosa, can you give me a hand just getting the sheep through? Come and... Thank you. Oh, there's eggs in there. Let's not shake that one. Right, if you have any escaping sheep or goats, or even the pigs really, and you need to get them anywhere, a little bit of feed in the bucket, shake and shake, and just keep walking and get a bit of momentum going, and they should all follow. Definitely with the sheep at least. Come on, girls. Good thing is they really like the hill field, so come on. It's only the lambs that often don't follow. Come on then. Jeffrey's here. He's got a little bit of a limp, but I did check him yesterday. Come on then. Right, let's walk. Up to the hill field, okay? This way. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Maggie, leave it. Come on then. Come on, come on, come on, come on. They absolutely love this field. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. I've just put a new mineral bucket down here because I noticed that they were going at another one the other day, so they're obviously in need of something. They tend to get most of the stuff this time of year from browsing all the hedges. It's not just grass they're on, but you can tell when they needed something extra and they're deficient in something because they're really going to town on that. So there is not really any need to count in here, but if you need to look for them, you've got 13 lambs. The lambs are a little bit fluffier and obviously smaller, and a dog that looks like one, and all the ewes, and then Jeffrey with his black feet and face. I'm probably not going to get around to it, and I should have done it just then. But there is also a ram lamb in here with a green dot on his back of his neck. If I get around to it, I'm going to be putting him in with the goats and the ram over the far side, but he might just have to go and stay with the flock. Now be careful back there. Hold on, Rosa. Okay, so that is going to make things way easier because you don't have to worry about the sheep getting stuck in the brook, getting through to the other fields, breaking through hedges. They're all contained up there. By all means, go for a drive or walk that way, but there's no livestock to worry about down there or into the next field. You're all good. This field can get pretty soft if we've had a heavy rain like we did last night, so I keep on this side up a bit next to this fence. We'll drive along this way. So this is where the goats are on the left, if they are feeling brave enough to actually venture over out of their pen.
Look, this is crazy.
So this is the crossing. As I was saying, just have it in first gear, low range, and just don't use your brake at all. And then that should just ease you down to the water. And then the other side has got concrete sleepers and bricks anyway. A little bit overgrown. And if you take a tight right here, you avoid all that swampy stuff, which I've still got to fill in. So again, it can get a bit squidgy over here, so I try and avoid the same tracks because last year we were driving a neat track along the fence line, but I haven't done that this year because I haven't cleared it all. So I just try and pick a new line each day so it doesn't get too worn. And they are creatures of habit, so they'll know you're coming and they'll probably be waiting at the fence. These pigs, there's 6 over here, 3 big, 3 medium, and they're pretty good. They never seem to go past their electric, and even if they did, furthest they get is just out here in the field, and as soon as they had any glimpse of the truck, they'd run back. Right, I'll explain the Energizer quickly. It does need charging up manually, I think, because I don't think that we've had enough sun this week. This is it. As long as this green one is on that earth rod and the red one is on there, it should be fine. It should just be green flickering every now and then, and it is saying it's fully charged now, so that's all good. So you shouldn't have to touch that at all. It's sunny. Right, let's get these girls fed. So you can see it's all mashed up here, so I don't want to feed them on there. I want to aim for a green or dry bit. So you can drive all the way around their pen. So if you drive under the willows here, which is where we need to do their water, like I said, you can just bring a sack down and scoop it straight into the field. Faith, can you hold that? Just film. So I don't really want it, they'll mash into the mud here. And there's a bit of green over here. So we'll do it in 2 big piles. Don't spread out too much. It's a bit mucky, Rosa, but you can, yeah?
But I have high heels on. But I have high heels on.
Oh, no, stay in there then.
Hi, guys.
So I wouldn't suggest coming in here until they're distracted, or if you've got nice trousers on, because they just hit you with their muddy faces. It's cool and it's okay over here, but they still need their drinking water, and you'll have to do this once midweek. I'm going to fill it up now but maybe by Tuesday you'll need to fill this up, and I'll show you how to do that quickly. I've gone a little bit too far on the truck, so I'll just lift it out, but otherwise you can leave it in here. The generator. Faith, can you grab the black plug? It's hanging up in the willow tree. Plug it into the white socket. So I just topped this up, so there's no need to do anything. All you need to do is put this, yeah, hang on, I'm just filming. You need to put this to start, you need to turn that to on, and give it a pull. Then after 5 seconds, switch that to run. It's all good. And then sometimes you just need to reset the breaker on here, that orange one. And then it will start pumping up in this yellow lay flat hose. Now, it's pretty low flow rate when it's a lay flat hose. Here it comes. If I'm off doing other things, checking the fence or feeding, then I squish it together and poke it through that hole. And you can leave it there, and it might take 5 minutes. Otherwise, if you've got nothing to do and you stand with it kind of even, you can get better flow rate, and it'll take 2 minutes.
I just clip this on me.
I wouldn't. That's for putting rubber bands on little balls and tails.
And guess what? I clipped it on my
yeah.
finger.
Don't do that. I'll put it in the back. They shouldn't need anything. They're going to stay put. They'll stay behind one wire. There's 2 around most of it. This corner's just pinged off here, so we'll maybe sort that quickly. It's just so soft, the ground, they pull out. Branches is the main thing to watch. If they come, they'll probably not even bother it, but just in case they get bored. They're going to be moved from this area when we get back. They're going to be working on that area. They do a really cool job of rotivating. So this is where I've moved the fence. I've actually moved it back now, but I'm going to move it daily, a metre or 2. Look at how they just rolled it up to get to all the roots and stuff there, and then I can go in behind and reseed. A lot of this is all weeds, some really horrible weeds up there. So amazing. They are the ultimate staff member. Good. And health-wise, there's nothing really to worry about on the pigs. Well, obviously just keep an eye on them, but they are pretty resilient to everything. So unless there's anything obvious, they're all good. They've molted through, so they've got nice new coats now.
Dad!
Nearly there?
It's bigger than those.
Good, well done. So just switch that off. You can just switch that across so it's ready for next time. Can you go and hang the plug up again, Faith? Didn't need. I just hang that plug up there, just out of the elements. The pump is down in the little deep section there. It's also tied up on this rope. If for any reason it doesn't start, it's got a little floating switch. It's deep enough now anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue. But sometimes you just have to jiggle it. But like I said, you only have to do it once in a week because that gives them 3 or 4 days. So then you can drive around the rest of the lap of the woody pig area. Shouldn't be anything down here, but it is sealed off with the fencing now, so they can't get out even if they wanted to. But it's well worth driving around just so you can double check that there's no branches fallen. So it's only 1 strand of electric here, but it's still just fine. This is worth sorting out. It's just where they turf it, and you can hear it shorting out there a bit. You kind of just need to get, they'll be bored of this area now, so they probably won't come back, so you can just flick it. This is because I fed them here yesterday. So worst case scenarios, if anyone escapes, it's easy enough to shake a bucket and get them back into the field, providing you can actually see where they are. If anything dies, well, firstly the chicken dies, the easiest thing to do probably just to bring it down and put it in a hedge, and the fox will sort that out for you. But normally, if there's anything else, then I will leave a number, or just call me. But the fallen stock guys will sort it all out and they'll come and pick it up. This is obviously worst case scenario, but I'm only mentioning it because we lost the sheep last week. And the only animal on the farm that you probably couldn't move by hand is Matilda. Touch wood, nothing happens to her, but that would be a case of just getting the tractor. But we can do that over FaceTime if it really came to it. Right, so as I was saying, really sloppy around this side. So you just kind of cruise through that bit and just drop it back into first gear. No, don't drop it. Sorry, you're right. I won't drop it. And then just no brake, no brake. And it's pretty slippy up this side, but first or second, you can normally climb up absolutely fine. What's the dog doing that? She's got blooming half a tree there. I'm going to leave this gate open because I'm coming back down later, but well worth just keeping things shut if you can. Right now, there's cows in the field up there, but it definitely looks like they're in our field when you look out, but they're not. They're just the other side of a very discreet fence at the top, so don't worry about them. There's double fence between us and next door anyway, and if there are ever any emergencies, then we will leave next door's number anyway. If you need water in the barn, there's this one here from the old trough just by the feed area. The only thing you'll need it for is the chicks. And also you can probably fill up from here if you want to top up the drinkers for the chickens outside. Right, so this week we had some surprise chicks that hatched out on a bag of compost. I'm going to clean this girl out completely. She's in the old rabbit cage. But if you need to, well, you will need to feed and water her. Feed her there. I'll put a little pot of chick crumb to fill that up with. And I'll do her. These galvanized ones you just fill up and then the top section drops down and twists. This one's broken a little bit, twists until it locks, and then that just keeps it all in there. Sorry girl, it's pretty mucky in there, isn't it? It's what happens when you have unexpected babies. So she is feisty and she'd normally be legging it. But there's 8 little chicks in here. Well, there should be. So I will sort that out. I've left them up there because, you know, disaster scenario, but a rat gets in there and has chicks for dinner. And there you go. It's pretty simple. It doesn't normally take that long. Normally you don't have to be messing around doing the water and everything, and you just get the feed ready the evening before, or just take the bag and dose it out in the field. Little recap, sheep are up in all the sheep they have now are all up in that field. All the ewe lambs are in the big patch, and the single ram, Samson, is in the little lower paddock on the far side with the billy goats. Their water is just the buckets. Matilda is in the corner with her electric. That electric will be fine. Even if that electric shut down and ran out of battery, she would stay put. She's really good. So she's got her house there. Just feed them in the morning, so that's what we wean them onto for the summer. It's just easier. So you just feed them their full helping in the morning with the pigs. So there is actually no feeding to do in the evening at all. It's more just have a little check, make sure everyone's happy. You don't even need to go all the way over to the pigs in the secret meadow. If you just want an evening walk, you can kind of go along and look through the trees, and if they hear you, they'll kind of run over, and you can just about, as long as you can make out 6 of them, you know everything's okay. The rabbits, self-contained, shouldn't have to worry about them. So the only thing to do and make sure in the evening is the chickens need to make sure that by about 8 o'clock they're in, they take themselves in, but fold up their flap, turn the little bit of timber, and they're secure. And that's it. No cockerels to wake you up. You can put this bit of netting back up. I only lay it down to drive over, but to be honest, the only thing that can walk through now is the chickens, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world. And then the noisy crew around the corner, the goats, again, their water is automatic. There's a black one on the floor, so that will fill up on its own. Feed them in the morning, check on them. If they're being a bit noisy in the afternoon, they might just need a bit more hay, or they might just be whinging because it's the slightest chance of rain. There we go. Hope everyone else enjoyed that, and our farm sitters, hope you enjoy the farm, and we'll see you next week.